Critical races, issues on the ballot, and voters are letting their voices be heard on it all. Team coverage of Your Vote 2015.
Getting the story straight, police say he gave them several. The crash that involved a TPD cruiser.
And a young child hit by a car, but the driver speeds off. The hunt for whoever's behind this hit and run.
But first, it is your vote. The candidates have made their cases. Now it's time for voters to have their say. People heading to the polls still tonight to decide a number of races and issues, both the local and state level involved here. And with that, we say welcome in to Action News at 6. I'm Lee Conklin.
And I'm Christian Brown.
And I'm Diane Larson here live at the Reynolds Elementary School polling station, the biggest polling station in the city. There are 5 precincts, about 4,200 voters here, and there has been a steady stream of voters all afternoon. There's a little bit of a lineup at the door right now, to be expected as folks get off work, make their way to the polling station, and cast their vote today before the 7:30 deadline for the polls to close. We have total team coverage today of this all-important election day. 13 ABC's Amy Montgomery is covering the Ottawa Hills deer cull issue. Also, Bill Horman tracking the Toledo mayor's race. It's a special election issue. He has details on that. But we want to start with Sean Haggerty, who is at the early voting center, to tell us not only about voter turnout, but a problem facing some voters in Sylvania Township. Sean.
Reporting live, Sean Haggerty, 13 ABC Action News.
Sean, thanks very much. Here on the Toledo ballot in the special election for Toledo mayor, all 7 candidates' names appear on the ballot. 13 ABC's Bill Horman has been following this race with that many candidates. It's got to dilute the vote somehow.
This is what's interesting about a race like this. With all of those candidates, you start to look for some definition. Who can be helped by what? Here's a couple of interesting scenarios. There are 3 candidates who are from District 2, Collins, Spang, and Finkbeiner. Now, are they going to divide the vote in that very big, very rich district? And could that help somebody like Paula Hicks Hudson from District 4? How about the union vote? Mike Bell did not do well with unions in the election that he lost to D. Michael Collins. But Collins and Hicks Hudson and Cardi Finkbeiner are dividing up the big labor forces in this city. Could Mike Bell thread the needle to victory because of the split in the union vote? And then also there's Paula Hicks Hudson, the endorsed Democrat. Cardi Finkbeiner, who won 3 times as mayor as a Democrat. Is there going to be party loyalty challenges there between Hicks Hudson and Cardi Finkbeiner? Whatever happens from all of this, there are big crowds voting. This is a big race, and chances are there'll be some extra voting time tonight.
We're hoping we get a great turnout today, but sometimes because of work schedules, people are going to vote later into the night. And I can tell you, if at 7:30 there are 100 people waiting in line, that polling location will remain open. And because of that, our results will come in later.
So we may not know tonight at 11:30, Diane, who's elected mayor. As a matter of fact, we may not know until tomorrow. As a matter of fact, we may not know until Thanksgiving when they can start to count the provisional ballots and then get the certifications. It could be December before we have a new mayor installed.
Stay tuned to this one,
Exactly.
Bill. Thanks so much. You know, another big issue on the ballot driving folks to the village of Ottawa Hills is the deer cull issue. That's whether that the village can hire bow hunters to thin the herds. 13 ABC's Amy Montgomery has been covering that story for us.
Diane, this is and has been a very controversial issue. If voters say yes, village leaders will be able to put together a plan and really fine-tune it to fit Ottawa Hills. From there, bow hunters will be able to come in and then thin out that herd. But some people say it isn't necessary.
Issue 13 will change the village ordinance to allow for a controlled bow hunt. Supporters say it's much more than just ruined landscaping and deer causing car accidents. They say there are too many deer within city limits. It's causing problems for the environment and the herd. But the opposition believes none of that is the case. They argue the deer count has hardly changed since 2009, when a measure like this was defeated by voters. Plus, there are safety concerns having a bow hunt in a residential area.
When somebody uses a bow and arrow, the deer likely are just going to be wounded. They're going to roam.
You'll hear the opposition say that there'll be bow hunters walking down the streets of Ottawa Hills. That's not going to be the case. It's a controlled bow hunt.
Hupp also says that they'll be able to bait the deer so that they can perform this hunt in a safe area away from homes and people. He also says that before any hunter can participate, they have to pass a background check and an accuracy test. In Ottawa Hills, Amy Montgomery, 13 ABC, Action News.
Amy, thanks very much. And again, the polls remain open here in Ohio until 7:30 tonight, as we heard from Bill just moments ago, though. If people are in line at 7:30, elections officials will make sure they get their chance to vote. Polls stay open in Michigan until 8 o'clock tonight. And then, of course, throughout the evening on 13 ABC Action News and at 13abc.com, you can follow the results as they come in. And as Bill said, may not be tonight, may not be tomorrow, may be a long time before we find out who becomes mayor, but we're on top of it, and we'll have those results for you as soon as we get them. For now, I'm reporting live from the Reynolds Elementary polling location. Diane Larson here. Back to you folks in the studio.
All right, Diane, see you back here a little bit later.
Well, welcome back, everybody. We're at the Reynolds Elementary School polling location where there has been a steady stream of voters here all afternoon. It is an hour before the polls close, little over an hour. Polls close at 7:30 here in Ohio. I happen to be sitting next to the table where paper ballots are being cast, and that could be key in the Toledo mayor's race because these ballots will not be counted tonight. They will be counted later. A number of people voting at this polling location who've just moved into the district, and so those paper ballots could have a role in this Toledo mayor's race. But again, the polls close 7:30 here in Ohio, 8 o'clock in Michigan. And we'll be following all the results all night long on 13 ABC Action News and 13abc.com. And the weather, you can't blame the weather for not getting out to vote, right, Jay?
The weatherman, yes, yes. 61 degrees at 7, yeah. We're in the 60s now, staying there through 7 o'clock, so not even a coat required to head outside tonight. 50 degrees by 11 o'clock. Tomorrow, dry, 72. Dry Thursday, rain early Friday. Cooler and dry for the weekend. We'll be in the lower 50s each day.